Hello students, welcome to online classes of geography. This is my fifth class of your chapter number 5, primary activities. I have already completed all the topics of the chapter. Today I am proceeding with the discussion of the exercise question answers and followed by the discussion of 10 years board questions. Now the first is the MCQ NCERT questions, and then comes the CBSE board questions. Now the first is their MCQ. Which one of the following is not a plantation crop? Answer is C. Wheat is not a plantation crop. In which one of the following countries cooperative farming was the most successful experiment? That is Denmark. The most successful experiment. Number 2B is the most successful experiment. Growing of flowers is called as floriculture. Number D. Growing of flowers is called floriculture. That is D. Next, which one of the following types of cultivation was developed by European colonists? That is plantation agriculture. Again, option D. Question number 4, option D. Next, in which one of the following regions is extensive commercial grain cultivation not practiced? In which it is not practiced? It is not practiced in the Amazon basin. That is, again, it is number D, option number D. It is practiced in prairies, it is practiced in pampas, it is practiced in steppes, but it is not practiced in Amazon basin. Now, next, number 6. In which of the following of agriculture is the farming of the citrus fruit very important? That is Mediterranean agriculture. Option number C, Mediterranean agriculture. Question number 7, the MCQ number 7. Which one type of agriculture amongst the following is also called slash and burn? That is primitive subsistence agriculture. Option B. Primitive subsistence agriculture. Option B. 7, option B. And the last MCQ, which one of the following does not follow monoculture? That does not follow monoculture is mixed farming. That is, it is going with animal husbandry as well as growing of crops. Dairy farming is a monoculture, plantation agriculture is a monoculture, commercial grain farming is a monoculture. So all these three are monoculture, but mixed farming is not a monoculture. Now, let us proceed with the next question, that is the exercise questions. It is in a 30 words, future of shifting cultivation is bleak. Bleak means offering no hopes. Now, why it is considered so? Because the shifting cultivation is having many demerits or limitations. What is it? First of all, it degrades it erodes the soil. Second, it leads to land degradation. And third, extinction of flora and fauna, which is responsible for the environmental degradation. So what is it? Number 1, soil erosion. Number 2, land degradation. And number 3, as a whole, environmental degradation or ecological imbalance. That is why future of shifting cultivation is bleak. Number 2, market gardening is practiced near urban areas. Why? Now, why market gardening is basically practiced near the urban areas? Now, first of all, market gardening means it is growing of the horticulture crops or the high value crops. And why it is being practiced near the urban areas? Now, when it is horticulture crops or the high value crops, obviously the one who can able to get these crops or buy these crops are the urban society. So when it is high value and it is being affordable by the urban society, so obviously it is the best site where market gardening should be practiced or horticulture should be practiced. So this is the reason why and the demand for these market gardening products are more in the urban areas. So this is the reason, basic reason why market gardening is practiced near urban areas. Now next, large scale dairy farming is the result of the development of transportation and refrigeration. Now why it is being said so? Because now dairy products are perishable in nature. So, and that is quick perishable in nature. So we need to store the dairy products, and for that we need refrigeration processes or other preservation processes. And secondly, we have to export to the far-flung countries which need quick means of transportation. So for the fastest means of transportation of these highly perishable products, the development of transportation is also very much needed, and the large scale refrigeration and other preservation strategies is also very much needed. So this is the reason that why large scale dairy farming is the result of development of transportation and refrigeration. Hopefully you are able to follow the answers. Now question number 3. Differentiate between nomadic herding and commercial livestock rearing. Now here you can easily write the answer by just comparing the features that has already been given in the notes in the previous classes. And the same thing, important characteristics of plantation agriculture, it's already been given. Now let me just clarify one thing. It is your duty to up to date all the notes that is given in the PowerPoint slides till now for all the chapters, and then follow the exercise questions. Now if the question is a bit different from what it has been done in the notes, then it is your duty to write the answer accordingly. And if it is directly the same thing, then there is no need to repeat the answer once again. Or if you can do, it will be a practice for yourself. Now let us move to the CBSE board questions. Now the first, that is 2008. Name the country where practically every farmer is a member of a cooperative society, and the answer is Denmark. Number 2, name the 2 activities on which the earliest human beings depended for their sustenance. Answer is gathering and hunting. Next, why is the number of pastoral nomadics decreasing in the world? Explain the main reason. Now what is being asked? There are many reasons, but what is the main reason for the decrease of pastoral nomads in the world? The main reason is that the political boundaries are rather creating a barrier, or what we can say that new settlement plans have been developed that has implemented by different countries. So what will be the main reason? Imposition of the political boundaries and development of new settlement. The main reason will be imposition of political boundaries and development of new settlement plans. It's a 1 mark answer. Now next, which are the 2 types of intensive subsistent agriculture? So the 2 types are the intensive subsistent with paddy and the intensive subsistent other than paddy. With paddy and other than paddy are the 2 types. Now compare mixed farming and dairy farming in 3 points. It is your duty to see the notes and just make a comparative study between this. Now these questions you have to do it. Why? Because it is given point wise but not in a comparative manner. So please prepare the comparative study with the proper criteria or the basis that what is the method of farming, what is it, whether it is labor intensive or capital intensive, what is it only cultivation of the crops, or it is a cultivation of or it is a that is a combination of both the activities, animal husbandry and that is cultivation of crops, or it is only basically animal husbandry, whether there is having any other off season or it is there is no off season. All these things has to be mentioned over there. So your correct way to present the answer, that it will be in a tabular form with basis or with the criteria. Now the next question, what is the meaning of market gardening and horticulture, where basically the high value crops that is related to vegetables, that is related to flowers, it's being cultivated, that is market gardening and horticulture, and its 4 characteristics, obviously it is given in the notes. Now next, 2009, 6 characteristics of plantation agriculture. Now here you can see the marks, it's 3, but the characteristics they have mentioned for 6. So what does this indicate? That each characteristics consist of half marks. So you have to just keep it in your mind that answers can be 3 marks, doesn't mean you have to just write 3 points. They can ask about for more than the marks that is indicating, that means 6 marks. 6 characteristics carries half marks each. Now which are the 2 types of mining? It is open cast and shaft mining, and the features, it's already been mentioned in the note, you have to note down the features. What are the 2 categories of subsistence agriculture practiced in the world? The 2 categories are, number 1 primitive subsistence and number 2 intensive subsistence, and you have to mention the 2 features, it has already been given in the notes. Again, once the difference between subsistence agriculture and commercial agriculture, then comes primitive subsistence and intensive subsistence, and then plantation agriculture and horticulture. Now here all the 3 differences are having the notes in your previous classes. Now your duty will be to just write the differences in a comparative manner. Next, it is 2010. Name any 2 areas of high latitudes in the world where gathering economic 2 areas of high latitude in the world where gathering economic activity is being practiced. So the 2 high latitude areas are, number 1 is northern Canada and number 2 is northern Eurasia. Now next, name the process of migration from plain areas to pastures on mountains during summers, and again from mountain pastures to plain areas during winters, and the term is transhumance. TRANSHUMANCE, transhumance. Next, name the type of agriculture in which farming areas consume all or nearly so of the products locally grown, that is subsistence farming. Explain any 3 features of underground mining method used in different countries of the world. You will get the answer from the note itself. Next, dairy farming is the most advanced and the efficient type of rearing milch animals in the world. Analyze the statement. Why it is considered as the most? Because at the time of feeding we are having all the scientific techniques. At the time of milching also we are having the scientific techniques. Now after the products are being produced, the scientific techniques are there for its preservation, for its key storage purposes, and even the efficient means of transportation is also one of the most important, utmost needed that is there due to that is fastest means of transportation is there, because we have to export the products to the far areas from one place of region to the another place, and it has to be the speedy movement because these are highly perishable products. So the basic points, that at the time of feeding, at the time of milching, at the time of its health care, we need the most efficient techniques, and after the products are produced, then also the high technology things are very much needed. Now there is too low yield. The next question of the year, there is too low yield per acre but high yield person in interior points of the semi-arid areas on the mid-latitudes in the world. Support the statement with suitable example. Now what does, hopefully the question is clear to you. That means it is basically related to low yield per acre but high yield per person. So which type of farming they are indicating about? They are indicating about extensive commercial grain farming. Now what will be the way to support the statement? Now it is being practiced between 30° to 55° latitude, that in both the hemisphere, and these are the temperate areas where the climatic condition is very moderate, and that is very moderate, and these are the developed nation. Number one. Number two, these are highly specialized and mechanized type of farming, and here basically rural activities which are being done, the farmers are literate society. Now next, the farmers only concentrate on the grains, not in cash crops or in horticulture. So their principal crop is concentrating upon, especially upon wheat or other grains like oat is there, barley is there, rye is there. So but the principal crop is wheat. Now next, it's the mid-latitudinal areas of the semi-arid regions are sparsely populated. Now and specializing in commercial grain ranging from 2 to 25 people per square kilometer. Now why it is being there, it is a sparsely populated? Basically these are the areas which are the developed nations, and they are aware about their resources, and secondly they are literate, and thirdly they are able to control their family size. So thus these are the sparsely populated areas, and so when it is sparsely, they are able to, and they are literate too, so they are able to specialize in agriculture in a commercial manner. And farms, the last one, the farms are linked to the settlement by an increasing percentage of people who operate commercial grain farms but reside elsewhere than on the farms they run. Hence, this farming is also stated as suitcase farming. Now, what does this indicate? That the link, that is, the farm areas are comparatively away from the settlements. They are not adjacent to the settlements like that of our country. So they are away, and it is well knitted up from the settlement areas to the farm areas, and very highly qualified farmers are moving to those areas for practicing the cultivation or for operation purposes. And then after that, everything is over, so they get the products and they come back. So that is why it is also termed as suitcase, suitcase, suitcase farming. So these are the reason that why, though it is too low yield acre but high person in the interior arid lands on the mid latitudes in the world, I have explained all the facts. That is, it is of 3 marks. I have explained 5 points. So you can just answer, note down the answer, any 3 reasons from the explanation. Now let us move to the next part of it. It is 2011. What is subsistent agriculture? Mention any 4 characteristics of primitive subsistent agriculture. Subsistent agriculture means agriculture meant for the self-produce, is meant for the self-consumption. Now, name any 6 crops of plantation agriculture of the world. It is already given in the note that what are the plantations and who has introduced those plantation. Just take the help of the note. 2012, 5 features of nomadic herding and 5 characteristics of plantation agriculture. Everything is mentioned in the notes. Define dairy farming and characteristics of dairy farming, that is 2013. Next, 2014, Explain 5 characteristics of extensive commercial grain cultivation practice in the world. All these are the direct questions. Define the term mixed farming and its characteristics. It is a direct question. Now 2015, who are called red collar workers? Now already I mentioned when I started the chapter that there is the laborers, those who work on the field out from the, that is outside open space area, they are considered as a red collar workers, or in other words, all the people, those who are engaged in primary activities are termed as red collar workers. Now the next question, again a direct question. Define the term commercial livestock rearing. Explain its any 4 characteristics. Just take the help of your note. And another one, it's just a repetition. Characteristics of plantation agriculture in the world. 2017. State the 2 groups of the factors which affect the profitability of the mining. We have discussed about the 2 factors. One is physical factors and another one is economic factors. You have to just name the 2 groups of the factors, nothing more. Mention any 2 main regions of the commercial dairy farming. You can mention the 2 regions. One is Australia is there, Scandinavian countries, that is it is over there, even New Zealand, Tasmania, all these are there. Any of the 2 regions you can mention. What are the 2 types of intensive subsistence farming? It's just a repetition, I have already explained, and even the next question is also a repetition. Into 2 categories practiced in the world, and how are they different from each other? One produce the paddy, another produce other than paddy. Why? Because one is the areas where the rainfall is maximum, the soil is wetty, it is basically having a stagnant water surface, and the areas where the rainfall is comparatively low, they practice less, that is the crops that require less moisture. So the 2 categories practiced in the world is with paddy, other than paddy. Now describe any 3 features of open cast mining. It's a direct question, take the help of the note. Gathering and hunting, it is a question of 2018. You have to answer this question. Gathering and hunting are the primitive economic activities meant for the subsistence for the tribal society. But in modern times, gathering is market oriented and has become commercial. Examine this given statement. Now earlier, hunting and gathering, the people were that is primitive or the tribal society, they were not having any sort of that is the support from the government, and for their own subsistence they used to kill the animals, they used to gather the fruits or the leaves or the barks for their own subsistence. But now the hunting is totally prohibited because it is damaging the environment, it is creating the problem because the species are becoming extinct or vulnerable or endangered. So hunting is totally prohibited by the government, laws have been implicated. Now gathering has been commercialized. Why? Because the machineries have been upgraded, government is giving the support for this type of activity so that the tribal societies can live the better life for their means compared to their primitive life, they can proceed with the that is high standard of living. So you can support with example like rubber, that is extraction is gathering, extraction of the oil from the barks or from the leaves is the gathering. I gave one example of the chewing gum, that is also a commercialized extraction. So in this way, gathering is now market oriented and has become commercial, so that the tribal society, those who are practicing, is able to uplift themselves, is able to lead a proper life without damaging the environment. Here they are not damaging the environment, rather they are able to lead a better life or a high standard of living compared to their primitive life. Now next it is 2019. What is the basic principle of collective farming? Now the basic principle of collective farming is to just enrich the farming activity with the help of government instructions. Define the term cooperative farming. The term cooperative farming means, you all know, where cooperative societies are there to do the work of farming all together, just without that is keeping their own benefits or own sacrificing their own benefits or sacrificing their own ownership of the land, and it's just for the welfare motive. And what is the utility of the cooperative farming? The standard of the farmers are increasing, the employment is generated, income is also generated, and obviously the products that they are producing, they are able to get at a cheaper price. So there is no burden from the government. So these are some of the that is the tips for the answers that is there in the board questions. Now it is your duty to proceed with the answers according to the notes that is given and following this audio and the video. And next thing, hopefully you all got the NCERT book. Now you are having it from the school, and this chapter, all the maps that is given in this chapter are very, very important for your identification of the features. That is map pointing chapter. Identification. The plotting will not be asked. It is related to the features will be plotted out. You have to identify the types of the farming that is being practiced in different parts of the world. So all the maps are very, very important. If you are having any doubts, please mention it in the comment section, and please follow up your work up to till date. And next class I'm going to start with the 6th chapter of this book, that is secondary activities. Thank you for following today's class. Have a nice day.